So we've all got it, and welcome everybody. So thank you for joining us this afternoon for the Greener Care Special Interest Group. Delighted to have you here. It's one of the highlights of my week. It's a nice session at the end of the week where we can come together and just do something good for the planet. So thank you for joining us. Got a few things to talk about. We've got a fantastic guest speaker today, Hannah. So thank you for being here with you. I'll let John introduce you in a minute. But a couple of things I want to just make sure we've got onto the agenda. So we want to talk a little bit around the people plan and the care element of the people plan, that maybe between Lorna and I, we can just give a little bit of an update there and hear how that's going if we get any feedback. There's been a proposal to the Health Foundation. Maybe, John, we could touch on that. I don't know if Janet's going to join us, but I could talk about a new group Janet in Birmingham is going to be putting together. Jade will touch on the Greener Care Conference, and then I'll give just a little bit of an update about our Module 1 and the videos that I'm looking and planning to do. So those are the sorts of things I've got on for the next hour. We've got quite a lot to talk about and get through. Anything that anybody else wants to add to that, just so we can manage the time? Nothing specific? Great. Okay. So I think let's get going. We're always delighted to have guest speakers. So John, can I pass over to you?
You can, Elaine, although I'm really not going to say a huge amount at this point in time, other than to say that as Chief Executive of this fine institute, it's always a pleasure to have new presenters coming along. And we're thrilled today that Hannah Montgomery, who's the co-founder of Grace Cares Community Interest Company, is going to talk about Grace Cares. I think this is going to be really interesting. So Hannah, I'm going to hand straight on to you, and thank you so much for stepping in.
No worries. Thanks for the lovely introduction. Let's see if I can share my screen. All right, here we go. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Let me press F5 and that should make it big or not. Damn it. Thought I was going to be very clever with this. There we go. How do I make it bigger then? Normally, if you press F5, it will just present, won't it? There you go. I was obviously not pressing it heavy enough. So what is Grace Cares? So there'll be some videos that will take it through, so I don't talk too much, but it's a not-for-profit organisation that we officially launched on Valentine's Day because care is at the heart of everything we do. Very simply, we want to stop the care items needlessly going into landfill, really. There's so much care equipment that doesn't get reused and doesn't get taken back by the NHS. And we want to then resell those. So we've got risk assessments and all kinds of stuff. We've got a lot of insurance and a lot of maintenance that we do on the stuff. And then we sell them on for about a third of the original RRP to people that need it. And then the funds that we get off the back of that go into funding pots to help care workers, but also older people in the UK. But I'll play the videos now and everything will make a bit more sense as to why it happened.
Hello, I'm Hannah Montgomery and I'm a co-founder of Grace Cares. Why? For the last almost 2 decades I've worked in social care in some capacity. I came back to my hometown of Lichfield in 2016 and I set up a marketing company called Goldust Marketing, and at that same point I set up the Contact the Elderly Lichfield group, which helps over 75s, and when they're lonely and isolated, once a month we take them out to someone's house for an afternoon tea party. Fast forward to a couple of months ago, one of the old people that I help support fell down the stairs, and she lives in a masonette top floor flat. She has no family support and she has a limited income. I called one of my friends and co-founder, Adam, because he has a waste management company, and I said, Adam, if you find a stair lift that goes straight up and straight down, let me know, because we need to get Doreen out of her flat. To this, Adam said, I have loads of care equipment that often has to go in landfill because no charities will take it off me. It is a crying shame. So I went, I know people that will need this equipment, and this is the why of Grace Cares. So now fundamentally, we want to help care workers and older people, not just financially with grants and support, but also emotionally to help them, and also the needless landfill waste. Let's stop that too.
So that was my why, and there's the other 2 founders that will say why they're doing it as well. So Adam's next.
Hello, my name's Adam and I am a proud co-founder and member of the Grace Cares family. A little bit about myself. I've served 13 years in the Royal Air Force and I've deployed on operations overseas. In 2017, I decided to leave the armed forces and I'm now operating in the waste clearance industry. During this time, I've noticed a lot of care equipment going to waste and going to landfill. After a discussion with Hannah and Emma, we decided that we can change this and make care equipment accessible for all. I'm also a carer for my mother, along with my sisters, and she's been very unfortunate with her health. She's had brain aneurysms, she's had cancers, and she's also registered blind. So I fully empathise and understand that care equipment is not always accessible or affordable. So I'm on a passionate drive to try and change this and make care equipment accessible for all.
And then we've got our third and final one, and that's Emma.
Hello, I'm Emma, and I've been really blessed to have worked for myself for over 20 years now. After being successfully treated for cancer, I realised I needed to make some changes in my life. I've always really enjoyed helping other people, so when the idea for Grace Cares came about, I knew that it was something I wanted to get involved with and work with the brilliant Adam and Hannah. The idea for Grace Cares is really simple. We want to stop items that are needlessly going into landfill, make sure they are reused for people, sell them at an affordable price to people who need them, and use those profits to help our amazing care workers who do a brilliant job helping our families. And we also want to help people in need who need our support the most. For me, I am particularly excited about our vision for the future to open a community space where you will always receive a warm welcome, hot food and someone to talk to. I'm really excited about getting involved and getting it started. If you've got any questions, please give us a call and get involved.
As you can see, Emma is much better on camera. One take wonder, that woman, she's fabulous. So we're off to a great start anyway. We've already had donations of wheelchairs from the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, so they have to get X amount of wheelchairs in to help spectators. So we got those donated. In fact, Chappie on the screen there is in one of them. We've got a partnership with the Birmingham NHS Community Trust. So we are now signed up on there. We've got a partnership agreement and we're on their help desk and we get emails when they've got equipment that needs picking up, and then we go and pick it up. And then we bring it home and clean it and all the rest of it. We've also secured a depot in Lichfield, which is really, really exciting. So we can reverse the van in. Found that very exciting. And we've also got our first community group up and running, because the Contact the Elderly group I was running before is now our first official Grace Cares group. And that's where Chappie, one of my models, is from. So what can you do in terms of what do we need people to do to support us? Buying our pre-loved care equipment, anyone that wants to volunteer skill sets or ideas, donate old care equipment, give financial contribution, consider a corporate partnership, just follow on social media, that would be very much appreciated, or sign up to newsletters, spread the word, just let people know about Grace Cares. We've also got a how and why proposal document for care providers that gives a bit more in-depth of the case study of what we're doing with the NHS and how that hits their delivering an NHS net zero policy, and there's quite a thorough breakdown in terms of how that supports them, so that's quite beneficial for people. And I'll just finish that. If you want to scan and see the website or get in contact, there's some more details and just a little thank you.
Thanks for your donation.
There you go. And that's me done. I'll stop sharing.
Wow, Hannah, you've set us alight this afternoon. That's a big healthy round of applause, I think. Thumbs up from everybody. Well done, you.
Thank you.
And what a great initiative that you started there. I'm sure loads of people are going to have questions for you, Hannah, and I'll open it up for questions if anybody wants to jump straight on in and ask. Lorna, do jump straight in and ask Hannah whatever you like.
Hi, Hannah. So I'm Lorna and I'm a provider, and I also am a sustainability lead for the Devon Care Home Collaborative. So we're not quite in your neck of the woods. And my question is, because your talk was very timely, we've been having conversations with local authorities. There's a really strong recognition, I think, by providers and the wider sector around this topic of, you know, saving stuff going to landfill, and why are we wasting this?
Yeah.
Question for you is that, so when are you doing your, you know, national expansion program?
Well, we're really lucky because Adam owns a franchise of Just Clear, and he owns the West Midlands franchise. So the other franchisees are all on board helping with us. So we're negotiating at the moment what the cost would be to sublet some of their storage. And once we've got a full van load in the storage for all the other Just Clear depots, we can then go and pick up and bring back. We've got our second storage unit because we've already outgrown the Lichfield depot because we've got so much stuff that we're getting on the 1st of March, and that's in Tamworth. So hopefully soon, but if there's a big chunk of stuff, we'll come and get it, and there could be a way that we can get it.
We're definitely looking at the big chunk of stuff, but it's also the link. I think what you've recognised is you need to invest in understanding who needs it and getting it to them, and having the appropriate OT assessment, etc. And that's the bit that's falling down, because it's not high enough up people's list. So actually, I think there's a real need for linking to the dom care market, enabling people to stay in their homes, like your example, the lady in the maisonette upstairs. And that's the bit that's missing. I think personally, that's where I think you add a huge value.
Well, we've already found out with deliveries we need to book in. So we book it, it's almost like a care visit. So we book at least a minimum for drop off, because we know it will be, we've got to take the item in, and then it's a chat, and then often it's, do you want a cuppa? And we're like, yeah, all right. Yeah. So we factor that into our delivery process as well.
So do you have care providers coming to you, dom care providers coming to you saying, I need a wheelchair for Mrs. Bloggs down the road?
Not yet. Literally launched a week, okay. Yeah, a week and a half ago. Let's all go.
yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
great. Thanks, Lorna. Let's bring Andrew in. I'll come to you then, John.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much. What an interesting, kind of idea. I was just, so I'm based in Hampshire, and kind of similar to our last questioner, I was wondering how we would be able to support or kind of get involved. So I sit on the Hampshire Care Association, and we have lots of members throughout that county. And I imagine, and I also run a care home and a dom care business. And I know from my own business that it's so frustrating. You know, we constantly have stuff that's no longer needed, and no one wants it. No one's going to take it back. NHS don't want it, charities. So I totally get the need. I suppose it's about that linkage, isn't it? Just like our last questioner was talking about how to link us up, and how we could help perhaps as on my side as the care association, how I might be able to support, I don't know, and kind of talk about your initiative locally, so that then we could have a kind of central place to send things, to then go to you. I don't know. I mean, it would be fabulous to do it. And I'm really open to keeping in touch and trying to make something like that happen.
Yeah, that would be great. We could come and almost speak to the association and bang heads and go, right, okay, is there a storage unit here, or there's somewhere that we could come, and then we could come once a week or once or what have you, because with the NHS we've got a 5-day SLA service level agreement, so every 5 days we have to have gone to pick up. So if there was a storage space, we could then maybe, because my dad, if you've seen in the pictures, my dad's one of the volunteers. He was actually a paramedic that had a mental breakdown during lockdown. That's why a lot of the funding is for key care workers, because I know they need it. PTSD is going to be huge, but obviously to help Doreen that can't afford a stair lift. So next time a Doreen comes to me, I can go, here you go, love, you can have your stair lift. You're fine. And it almost be self-fulfilling. So we'll find a way. We're a week and a half in, and if we can figure out a storage unit in Hampshire, or speak to the Hampshire representative of just clear and use their storage, that could be maybe a way of.
Okay, that might be, yeah, we should definitely stay in touch. And just one quick follow-up on that. So there's a market obviously in kind of linking up with dom care to individuals in homes. But I think, to be honest, there's also a market in care homes, depending on your business model, as a care home, I mean. You know, budgets are tight, we know that. And, you know, sometimes it can take a long time to wait for equipment to come through. Or, you know, funding for that is, you know, can be tricky. So, yeah, you know, I think that there is a market in the care homes as well.
Care homes understanding that it's okay, and they seeing our servicing process and our risk management. We can also get infection control certification done on if that is needed. Also, it does tie in, the CQC don't give you negative, like if someone brings their own stuff from home in, then that's outstanding care, isn't it? Because they're being made to feel, so being used care equipment wouldn't be a problem if it's passed all the tests and compliance. And then it ties into sustainability. If we had another COVID hit and you can't get stuff from China anymore or equipment, having us as another option of getting stuff, surely that would be beneficial as well for the CQC to see that. And they're not registered, there's not much on sustainability at the moment that they are looking at, but surely evolution would say that they're going to have to look at that soon. Who knows? It's the CQC.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sandra. Let me just bring John in before I bring Yaz in.
Just very quickly, Hannah, I think this is sensational. I just wonder if you could just elaborate a little bit more about how the finance works for potential users and so on. Could you just give us a little bit of an outline of?
So we're building the board at the moment. So we've got the leader of Lichfield District Council, because obviously it's Lichfield based and we're doing the Lichfield community groups. We've got one of my head volunteers from Contact the Elderly. She's actually one of the top 3 at HomeServe, and she's got a legal background. So we're building the board of, so I've got to get more people representing social care, more people representing sustainability, because it's not morally fair for, we think it's not cool for me, Adam or Emma to be involved in the grant giving. So it'll be each quarter they're already offering to meet up and then go through the applications and then distribute funds. At the minute we're in minus money, me and Adam and Emma have put in chunks of money just to get every stuff. But you know, once we sold the care equipment that we've got tons of, then it will just be distributed. And we want to be really clear. My issue was with Contact the Elderly. They've got a Coots bank account and they don't give out any money, and I want to be very clear with the money because it's my bugbear with anything that's charitable. And the only reason we're not a charity is because we are going to make over 25% of our money from trading, so we can't be a charity. Hence why we are limited by guarantee and we don't have dividends or anything like that. We're a CIC that is completely not for profit.
Thank you.
Fascinating business model, really interesting. Thanks, John. Yaz, do come in.
Hi, Hannah. I think this is great. Like, I know I said this the other day, or like a few months ago when we talked about it, but I think it's such a great idea. So well done on getting it off the ground. What I was going to say is, have you heard of an app or a company called Olio? So they're all about food waste, but what they have on there is everyone within their local community, they post if, you know, they've got extra food or extra clothes, uniforms, anything and everything. And the other day I saw, and you can also request what you're asking for, not just what you want to give away. The other day I saw that someone had asked for a wheelchair. So I did drop him a message to say to check out your website. I don't know if he ever did or not. But what, in terms of you collecting equipment, if you put on there that you are looking for XYZ, that might be a place where people are like, oh, I've got an extra wheelchair or walking frame or whatever it is that you need. And then if you can link it in with their delivery services, hopefully you can just collect it from one of their central depots.
Yeah, we're in talks at the moment. So Emma owns a market research company. She does a lot of work for VW. So she's got, I just love how the universe is bringing all of this. So we've got a chat with VW to give us electric vans because they think it's a great initiative.
Amazing.
Happening? I know, right? How does that happen? But yeah, so hopefully we'll have more vans to be able to go to Hampshire or go where have you, over to Lorna and pick stuff up. Send my dad out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Yaz. Hannah, can I just ask you then, how are you linking in with colleagues in healthcare then? I hear you've got your 5-day SLA to pick stuff up from them, but what about the other way around? Because there is one of the things in the NHS Greener plan, there's a big drive on getting people to bring equipment back that they can reuse, that I'm sure you'll be aware of. So how are you dovetailing in? Because there may be some equipment that people are trying to give to you that you want to sell, which is also should be going back to the NHS. So it's a bit of a grey area.
It's not for us. So if it's when we pick up any items, everyone has to kind of fill in forms and all the rest of it. We're very process driven to cover our bums with everything. And within that, where did you get this from? Is it NHS? Is it private? So they have to sign that off. If it is NHS, we then have to email the NHS place that it is from. If it's from Birmingham, it might not be. It might be from someone or what have you, and go, we've got this item number. Would you like us to drop it to you, or would you like to come and collect it, or can we resell it? We've already got a signed up partnership and done our due diligence with the NHS Birmingham Community Trust. So we've jumped through a few holes, it's there, and then therefore then then we've got covering up ourselves legally. Yes, you may sell this. No, you may not.
Right.
And then, but yes, it's a really valid point.
Okay, because I think that's just going to be a little bit of the confusion. I mean, it's been truly shocking to me to see the amount of stuff that just comes out of an elder person's home after they've died that just gets chucked to landfill. So I think people just don't know what to do with it, and often the NHS don't want to take it back for all the reasons that you've managed to find workarounds, which are legitimate ones. The NHS is so big and unwieldy, it's almost impossible to find some of those workarounds. There's so much red tape that it stops you doing a lot of stuff. So fantastic. It's really exciting to hear, and I'd be delighted to see you go nationwide. But yeah, little steps. We're asking you to put your email in the chat box when we finish talking to you, Hannah, if that's all right, so we can all track you down and sending people
come and get their equipment from us.
They're in Lichfield, they need money, go and buy something. But I think that what was interesting for me when I looked on your website is that you've got such a range. You've got from the high-end electric massage chairs that elder people need to get themselves up and down, which you can see dozens of on eBay, but you're never confident where they've been or how well serviced they are or how they've been cleaned, versus you've got, I can see just the odd crutch stick that people have brought back to you as well. So you've really got your work cut out, matching the equipment and the right equipment to the right people, haven't you?
It's fascinating. I just thought a walker was a walker, and now I know there's different size frames, there's different things, there's different. I'm going to know every commode off by heart soon. It's brilliant. We've got so much stock that's not on there because it's still got to go through quality testing, and we've got to do all the clean. We've got a cartridge steam cleaner.
And back to Lorna's point, have you got because people just buy the wrong things? That's what I can see. They'll be so in danger, and I was the same. I was trying to buy a Zimmer frame from my dad and thinking I need one tomorrow. I'll just get it off Amazon, and then thought, oh no, probably need to know how high he is and all the other things. So are you getting some professional and clinical support with some of those decisions and things?
The height and the weight and what have you, we get off the so one of the chairs is from a brand called Celebrity, so we contact them and say this one, and then we know all of the sizings and what have you. We're measuring with measuring tapes and the rest of it. We've got sandbag weights to weight test to a certain level as well. But there's any recommendations or ideas of welcomed, because we are building processes as we're going.
Absolutely. I'm sure your local OTs and physios would be more than helpful to give you some advice and support you on that, because again, you've got to be careful, having worked in the NHS for 38 years, that you don't get sucked into the red tape, Hannah. So be very careful they don't grab hold of you and suck you in. But nevertheless, there'll be some professional advice that I'm sure you could get some enthusiasts that could help you make what you're trying to do even easier. Andrew, did you want to come back in?
I just had one quick thing, so I had my video up to save people from the saucepans. I know you're so new. I was just wondering what is your current thinking around how to link up your stuff with people who need it?
We've been trialing loads of different places in terms of selling it. Nextdoor.co.uk, loads of people have bought from there. eBay take a lot of fees off us. We're trialing bits on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, but
I see.
Very bizarre conversations through there. But then, you get bizarre conversations, I suppose, anywhere. But yeah, we're trying to find the best way. But once we've built up the SEO on the website and people know more about us, then they'll just be directed there. So we've got different care homes. I love kindness rocks, right? I love painting them, and that's kind of how we're marketing ourselves. So I'm going into and doing activities with local care homes and kind of going in and putting all the posters and what have you up. But then, as a gesture of goodwill and what have you, then I'll do a couple of hours painting rocks, take some cake, and we'll do an activity.
It's that link piece, isn't it? That seems really crucial. Might be a really random thing to say this, but do you watch Dragon's Den?
Yeah, one of my clients went on Dragon's Den, actually, my festival.
Oh, right. Yeah, I just thought of it because there are a couple of dragons on there. Was it Deborah Meaden and the young guy who were quite kind of environmentally conscious? And the young guy, Stephen Bartlett is his name. He supports a project called, I think it's called Ecology, which is basically carbon offsetting, and there are rights and wrongs around that, but he certainly has a kind of green edge, and he's very tech savvy. And it might be that I don't know, it might be worth an approach, not to get some investment from them, but to see whether or not they would charitably have any ideas for that kind of tech bit in the middle to get you linked up and rolling it out. Just a thought.
No, I love it. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Hannah.
Thanks everyone for the input, all the ideas, Olio and all the rest of it.
Well, always get ideas from this group for sure. And what strikes me is the innovation of you being in the third sector. You're in a small business that you've set yourself up as a not-for-profit, but actually trying to do things that as big institutions we find really difficult. And it reminds me of going to it was a well-being, a sort of lunchtime club for older people. And as I walked in, the lady that was organising said, she said, I'll just be a minute, I'm popping next door just to heat up the sausage rolls because the oven's broken. And every bone in my body went, oh my God, she can't go and heat those in her own oven. She's not allowed to. The temperature won't have been checked. All the institutionalized thinking. And of course, when I went in, and Lorna would recognise this, they'd paid £1 to have cakes for each other. And actually, they were quite happy to have heated up sausage rolls and homemade cakes. Whereas for me, that cake would have had to come in a little plastic box. It would have had to have all the ingredients on it. You wouldn't, there's so many things as institutions in health and care we can't do. Whereas you can do them, and the customers can willingly take the risk if there is a risk, but you won't subject them to that risk, Hannah. I know that, but nevertheless,
God, could you imagine?
But it's the choices. It's allowing people to make choices that, I'm sure, Lorna, you'd agree. Sometimes you just can't do things that seem the obvious thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I love the social enterprise sector, and my cat is social enterprise, Hannah, and I've worked with social enterprises for the last 15 years. Yeah, you're innovative, and you can be agile and light on your feet, and you can be responsive, and things can happen quickly. And that's the beauty of what you do. But we've got a really strong ethical story to what you do as well, not just about saving from landfill, but it's actually that you're a community interest company. You are not, there are no dividends to shareholders that are going to seek profits away. It just gets reinvested back into your mission. So it's a really strong message. And that's something that will be, will play to your strengths for your marketing.
Well, we're in a really fortunate, I'm in a really fortunate position. I was able to not have to worry about money, and it all just came at the same time. And I just thought, well, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do? I'd like to do more of the contact the elderly stuff that I do.
Yeah.
During me with this, then my house was overtaken by care equipment, and then before you know it, I've told people I'm doing this now. I'd better do it. And now this is happening. So yeah, it will always come back to it, Lorna. That's something I'm really passionate about. We're not going to not.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Well done.
Well done. So indeed, so get your, if you haven't put it in already, I haven't looked at the chat, pop your address in there. We'll all be in touch and we'll all be promoting you, Hannah and Grace Care. So thank you. I told you today would be uplifting. It always is when we're getting people together on this group. So fantastic. Thank you. And do stay with us, Hannah, if you'd like to. You're more than welcome to stay. We will finish absolutely by 1 o'clock. So let's just pick up. We've got a few other things on the agenda to pick up though, if that's okay. And the first one I was going to talk about was the people plan, and I don't know, Lorna, we've written a little bit, you've had a look at it. Yes, I don't know if you've had a look at it and how that's going into the people plan. It was an additional little bit of narrative to put in to support the care agenda and a green perspective on it. So I don't know if there's any thoughts.
So I've seen the first draft and it's
great,
very good. Thank you to everyone here who contributed to that. But I've seen the first draft of the sections, so that's really good. We've gone back with our comments and edits, etc. Adam is putting that all together, and we should be getting that, I think, sometime today for us to then look through and see any final comments, edits that we want to make. But yeah, we are launching the people plan on the 22nd of March at UK Care Week, and John or Jade probably has more information about the actual logistics behind it. I think it's 1:20 is our panel on the keynote stage, and we're very excited to launch.
Fantastic. Excellent, thank you. Lorna,
we will also be planning to formally launch it after the Care Week sort of thing. We're going to have a proper launch again at the House of Parliament, we hope. So I'm just in conversation with our president and sponsor, Lord Philip Hunt, about sponsoring that, and then we'll be another grand day out on the terrace at the House of Parliament. Why not?
Get that suit out, John. I don't know. Fantastic. Excellent. Lorna, was there anything you wanted to say? Because I'd asked you about the practicalities of it. Did it land in a way that resonated for you? Was it helpful to have something?
I think you pitched it really well, Elaine, in terms of recognising all of the pressures that the sector has been under, and therefore actually the climate change agenda, or the green agenda, whatever you want to call it, it's very hard for it to have the traction and the attention, but very understandably so. And I think it pitched, that's what I read from it. I think it pitched it really nicely, recognising the challenges, but not saying that we can ignore it. You know, that this is really important. It needs to be embedded. Interestingly, I've been seeing a lot more activity just generally within the sort of business market, this SME market. Mm-hmm. People like the Federation of Small Businesses, they have a sustainability website and hub. There's a lot more that's feeding through now on the ground. So the local authorities are running a whole series of events around greening your business. So it's starting to get more attention. I think it's also very timely.
Great. And I think bringing the profile in this sector, it was certainly something that we were keen to do as an institute, but also to make sure that we can share some of that knowledge with others, because we've met recently, John. I'll just move on to the Health Foundation conversation that we had, and they were clearly struggling to get a cohesive view from this sector, because the sector is so fragmented with different providers, lots of local authorities and independent providers. It's been quite difficult to coordinate a view on the care sector around greening. But that's what we've tried to put together. And I think, John, you've asked the Health Foundation to even go a little bit further and help us a bit more.
Yeah, so just to put members in the picture fully, we've had a meeting with the Health Foundation, who are conducting a lot of work around environmental sustainability and carbon reduction. I think in partnership with NHS England's own efforts. But you're quite right, Elaine, they don't have the kind of capability in terms of reach to be able to engage with members such as our members, particularly, it must be said, within the social care space as well as the healthcare space. And so we've proposed that we can help them with that. We can run surveys and such like, which would be a first step. Because a lot of this, I think, is less to do with people like the Health Foundation or even NHS England's engagement with organisations and trusts and so on. You know, that's fine. That's kind of a mandatory element that will be put in place, but it'll be very organisational, and it'll be, dare I say it, I think very slow to really make some measurable impact. Whereas by appealing to individuals who are enthusiasts and advocates for what they do, I think you're more likely to make some more rapid progress, maybe smaller on an individual basis, but do you know what? We can get stuff going here. So I'm expecting that the Health Foundation will come back to us and accept the proposal that we've made. We have asked them for some money to help us with this, because you know, if we're going to do it properly, we want to be able to invest and do this to the kind of quality that they and we would aspire to, and we can't just do that for free. We haven't the bandwidth to be able to do that. So let's see what they come back with. I'm optimistic they'll say yes. Are you optimistic, Elaine?
I am optimistic, actually. I thought they were particularly interested in what we were doing. So I think, yeah, we'll see if they come and put their money where they were talking about, John. That would be very interesting. Right. It's not going to stop us doing what we're doing anyway. So I think, you know, it would be a nice extra if they did come and join us, but I think we'll carry on doing what we're doing, and hopefully we'll get even more traction. The thing that was very interesting was the wide range of people, both from, you know, the institutions, but also the public, the private sector, manufacturers. We have a wide group of people that drop in and out of this group, which I think is really helpful and really interesting. So great. Okay, thank you. So I don't think Janet's managed to join us on the call, Jade. I don't know if you got any feedback from her, but Janet, if you don't know her already, Hannah, is somebody that we definitely need to link you up with in the Midlands. Is that right, Jade? Do you think you could make those introductions? So Janet is the lead for sustainability lead for two of the big trusts in the Midlands. I think Walsall and Wolverhampton, I think the two. But really, in her absence, I just wanted to let you know that Janet has been out talking to lots of people about the great work that they're doing there in the Midlands in her trust sites around sustainability, and has started to attract attention from other sustainability leaders. And so people that are in those roles, particularly in healthcare settings. But I think it could be wider than that. And I was just thinking, Lorna, with your role as a lead for your area, that what Janet started to do is to bring people together quarterly to just share knowledge, interest, ideas, experiments that they've been doing. So I don't know, there's not many groups like that, Lorna, I don't think, around at the moment. Are you aware of any?
Not sector specific. So
no.
Very recently, there's been a project being run by Plymouth University called Low Carbon Devon.
Yeah.
So that project funding is coming to an end in March, but what they have put some feelers out for is whether somebody would help coordinate a quarterly or monthly peer support group,
right,
for those businesses, but across sectors, not specifically health and social care. So they recognise that actually people are feeling their way with this and actually need the peer support. So it echoes.
It does sound like that. Yeah,
it's very similar, and I think there needs to be more of it, because the stuff I do, so that my last newsletter for the Care Home Collaborative was just some really simple links to, for example, it was about saving energy. So things like light bulbs that have sensors built into them.
Mm-hmm.
You can get these really simple things now that actually will help save cost and save carbon.
Right.
It's some of that stuff, not necessarily some of the sort of contextual understanding. It's just do this.
Practicalities.
It's practical, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think the more we can have people coming together, sharing those ideas, but practical solutions, there is a lot of, theory, there's a lot of strategy going on. There's a lot of people working at a very high level to try and evidence the impact that we're having. But if we accept that everything that we're doing is having an impact and we try and understand what that impact is, I just won't have come across those light bulbs, Lorna, maybe, and it's one of those things. You and I have been talking about cling film. We're so sad, but, trying to find alternatives and then sharing it with each other, I think is a great way of creating that movement of people that are interested in it. So if there are any things that you hear about, we want to know about it, we'll try and find a way that we can have a sharing space, Jade, as well. I know we've got our website, but it may be on one of the other platforms that we want to have something where people have shared really good ideas and have seen things that worked. Jade's found one in Tesco already. I've tried that one, Jade. I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, we won't take you off down a tangential conversation about cling film. But cling film is one of the tricky areas that in hospitality and in organisations we need to sort out, because we use and waste an awful lot of it, Lorna, don't we? So if we come back to maybe having a place to share some of those, and if you are interested in joining Janet's Sustainability Leaders Group, I'm sure she was more than happy to have an open invite to people. So again, we can act as a connector and link you in. And if there's things that we can all learn together from it, that's great.
That would be great. I'd be interested, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we link you in. I think she's got the first one sometime in March. Okay. Now, is there anybody else wanting to come in that I can't see? I can't see everybody at the same time. No? Perfect. So I'm going to move us on now. We've got just 15 minutes or so left. Before I move off from cling film, then I should just open it up to see if anybody else has come across any fantastic, innovative things that we all need to know about that nobody's heard about. Anybody seeing anything green that we need to know about that nobody else has heard about so far? Go on, look, Jade, go for it.
I recently heard about heated wallpaper that they're trialing in prefabricated homes within an industrial unit to see how much heat could be generated from just having one room with this wallpaper that's got this technology in there, so it heats up just one room. It's supposed to be really cost effective. I have got a video for it that I'll share in the minutes for anybody that's interested in finding out more, but I just thought that was just wow.
That is wow. That's a new one on me. Well done, Jade. You get the prize for the most, I don't know, off the wall thing that we've heard all week. Let's see if Jazz can top that one. Do come in.
I don't think I can top that. That is definitely the most off the wall one that I've heard recently. Yeah. No, this is just in terms of solar panels. And if you have, this is more, I guess, for the care homes rather than for dom care. But if you've got a car park and you're getting solar panels in, if you get the, I don't know how you describe it, but if you go into an outdoor car park in Europe, they sometimes have covers. So it's like literally 4 pillars and then I'm going to call it a roof. Yeah. You put the solar panel on top of that, then what you can do is you get the energy generated from the solar panels. So that's great. But then also your teams are happy because they can park their cars in the shade. So when it's really hot, it's a double win-win.
Wow. Yeah. Good idea. And in fact, I think you'll find now most NHS buildings are covered with those solar panels on the top. I've no idea what they look like from above now, but I've certainly looked out of on a big site, looked out of the top of a 7th-story building and just seen a mass of solar panels. So we are quietly making these changes, aren't we? So fantastic. Thanks, Jazz. That's really helpful. Any other innovation anybody wants to share before I move us on? Andrew, do come in, jump in.
It was just a question, really. Sorry, I'm quite new to this, very new to this group, first today. I'd love to keep coming.
More than welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wondered whether or not food waste had come up in this chat. Okay, you're all nodding. Because I got in touch with our local council in Portsmouth to see if they would come and collect all the care home food waste, and it's kind of gone into a local authority black hole.
Yeah.
And not gone anywhere. Yeah, it sounds like you're all nodding, so maybe, you know, that was one kind of simple one really that just seems like a no-brainer, and it's just not happening at the moment.
We're nodding in sympathy, not in solution.
Oh,
Andrea.
damn,
Okay, I think that's fair, is it? So I think absolutely food waste is something which is truly shocking, and I could stand on a little box here and rant about it for a while, but I won't, because what we want to do is to reduce the production of the food if it's not necessary. I think what you're talking about, Andrea, is legitimate food waste from the processes, and that's
right.
okay.
Yeah, so just like you do at home. But,
absolutely.
You know.
So there are some alternatives, but the local authorities, I hate to say it, but are not the best placed people to do it. Their systems seem to be really complex, and they're going sometimes to compost, but not always to the right places. So you're finding stuff is going to landfill that you're not expecting, and that's one of our concerns. Is we more and more I'm recognizing that the view of recycling that we all do, and we all think that's great, we're doing recycling, is probably taking us down the wrong path, and we should be trying to do prevention rather than rely on recycling at the end because of the complexities of doing it. So but once you've got the food and it's wasted, then yes, Andrea, you're absolutely right, we need to find out how we're going to best reuse it or adapt it to be reused into
it's
compost
crazy
or
in our
animal
local
animals
area, because they're already collecting from households next door to me, that they care home, just using my home as an example, but they can't just
come to you
next door.
yeah, crazy. Well, if you do get any good news from that, keep going, and we'd like to hear it. But the some of the charities are doing it now. Some of the small and medium sized enterprises are also having a go at this, but they may charge you. That's one of the tricky things. You don't really want to be charged for the privilege of sending your waste to the right places, do you? So has anybody else got any experience of this that might help?
Yeah, Andrea, I was just posted in the chat bar. So I've been signposting our care homes through to the Guardians of Grub website.
That's right.
Fertility website, but it takes you through the process. So you're thinking about, you know, waste right the way through the system, if you like. They do have some really useful tools on there, but I use it as a starting point. It's not a solution. It at least helps people say, okay, what can we do about it, and take them through a structured process to try and reduce their waste in the first instance.
Yeah, has to be the first place. So great, thank you. Well, you'll come back now, Andrea, because you've got to come back and tell us how you get on, and we can hear how you did get on. Let me just pick up then on the modules that we're trying to develop. We've hiccuped our way along through these over the last 6 months or so, and this is a bit of work that we want to do around providing some modules around carbon literacy for our members and more widely than that. Now, we've done some work, Lorna, on some maybe training for care home workers, which I think you may be interested in as well, Andrew, that we could talk to you about. But the actual carbon literacy is really trying to get people to first base so they feel confident to be able to have some conversations about this. And Jade, I think we want to move it from the flat, almost two-dimensional document that we had into something which is much more interactive, and that I need your help with. I know you have a platform that you've used for other courses. I've had a look at the materials again over the last couple of weeks, and the materials are good, but we need to get them into the platform. So do John, I don't know whether we need to wait and see if we can get some help from the Health Foundation for that, or whether it's something we can just allocate some time to, because I feel we've got all the pieces of the jigsaw. We just need to try and put them together into the platform. So I don't know how we can get some help to try and do that, Jade.
I must say, I think we can move ahead with it, just
Great.
using some existing resources, like, you know, just using Zoom to record
some
video
videos.
pieces.
Yeah,
We really don't have to make it too complicated in the short term. So that there's absolutely the opportunity to do that. In our experience, as soon as you make videos of stuff, it just brings it alive. You get a far greater engagement reach, and there's nothing to stop us doing that. One of the things that we've discussed is how we produce a how-to guide. So how to write a sustainability plan for social care providers, health trusts, even individuals with teams and so on. You know, how do you write a sustainability plan that's going to be effective and useful and would pass muster? I think that would be a fantastic thing for us to do, and there is nothing to stop us moving ahead to progress that.
Excellent. Okay, so I think if people feel comfortable that's the right direction of travel, I'm keen that we do that. We do that with some of the partners that we've got. So we've got Kath from the Centre for Healthcare Sustainability. We've got other colleagues from Healthcare Without Harm Europe that could help us. So I think anything that can endorse what we're doing, John, will give it a little bit more credibility as well. But I shall be knocking on your doors trying to take some videos, and I think we just need to get a few so we can start using them on the platform. So if you're up for that, you can expect me to give you a ring and we can maybe just do it online. I can see some of you nodding, Lorna, already. Janet's already agreed. So I think having just some of these conversations, some of these the enthusiasm comes across then and wants people to know a bit more. So Jade, if you can help me, I think we need a couple of hours, you and I, in the diary that we can actually try and populate it, or you could teach me how to populate it, and then I shall be dragging you in to come and help me move things on, if that's okay. Are people happy with that? Yeah. Oh, you're willing volunteers as well, I can see. Excellent. Thank you so much. Good. Okay. Well, the only last thing I had was around the Greener Care Conference. So I can never remember dates, Jade, but I know you'll be scrabbling quickly in your complicated diary to let us know.
Oh, this one's on the top of my head.
Is it? Perfect.
Recently booked in the fabulous Hannah, who's done her presentation today. We also have a session on decarbonising Wales, of which we talked about recently as well.
Yeah.
There are 3 sessions that we have to fill. It's on the 10th of May, 12 till 2. It's virtually via Zoom, so everybody can dial in no matter where they are. If you would like to present at that session or know somebody that would be a perfect fit, please do contact me. I'll put my details in the chat, and I'll also follow up in the minutes as well. But yeah, this is going to be our 2023 Greener Care Conference, our 3rd one running. So let's make it a good one.
Make it a good one. They've been good up until now. Now, yes, John, we've all got that. It's Wales, the country. Yes, I know that's your little pun for the afternoon.
I have to say this because an ex-boss of mine once did an interview process for a job with this charming and very athletic lady who said that she'd swum for whales, and he said, "Did you catch any?" And she just, I mean,
didn't know what he was talking about.
It was awful.
Died.
It was awful.
Right. Okay. Well, you've had that. You've made that clarification, and that's really helpful. And it's an interesting document, actually. So it's going to be really interesting to have somebody talking about it. And I think we saw it here first, didn't we, Jade? Didn't we bring them in here first? So excellent. Okay. So volunteers for those last few slots, I think we'll have you there. I'm hoping I can move my flight, Jade, so that I'm not going to be flying in the middle of that and I can be with you for all of it. But if I can, I will absolutely be able to be there and speak. Is there anything else at 3 minutes to the top of the hour anybody would like to talk about or bring up? Nope. Otherwise, it's been another fantastic and uplifting Friday session, has it not? So everything that we're doing is definitely taking those little steps to save the planet and put our planet in better health. So thank you so much. Thank you for your passion, your enthusiasm, and most of all, your ideas. So please do come back, bring your friends. We'll send all the information that we can to you through the routes that we have. But we look forward to seeing you again in about a month's time.
Thank you very
Have a good
much.
weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Elaine.
Hey,
Thank you,
thank
Hannah.
you.
Happy weekends.
Well
Have a
done,
nice
Hannah.
weekend. Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Hannah.